Hello everyone. In this video, I will explain the demodulation of a double sideband suppressed carrier signal. The method what I am going to describe here is a coherent detection of DSP-SC. Now, what do you mean by this coherent demodulation of double sideband suppressed carrier signal is that I will explain using this block diagram. Now, see, this method is called coherent detection of the double sideband suppressed carrier because in this case, what I am using is for a demodulation process, I am using the same carrier, whatever I have used for modulation purpose in the transmitter. Okay, so in the modulation in the transmitter side, let us assume that we have used a carrier which has the frequency equal to FC. Okay, the frequency of the carrier signal is fc. That means the same carrier signal is regenerated in the receiver by using a local oscillator. So in case of a linear diode demodulator, we don't have to use any carrier in the receiver or in the demodulator for the demodulation purpose, but here we have to use a carrier. And another condition actually here is the carrier whatever I am using in the receiver should have the same frequency and the phase at all the time when I compare that with the transmitter carrier. That means the frequency and the phase of the carrier should be synchronized with the frequency and the phase of the carrier in the transmitter at all the time. So this is the major requirement. That means the frequency and the phase should be incoherent with the transmitter carrier all the time. That's why this method is called coherent detection of DSP-SC, or we also call this as a synchronized or synchronous detection. Now, in this process, how exactly we demodulate the signal and we get back the original message signal, that I will explain. Now, what and all we have here? We have a product modulator followed by a low pass filter, okay, and one local oscillator used to generate the carrier for local purpose or locally. So the input for this product modulator or a multiplier is nothing but it is the double sideband suppressed carrier wave. Okay, so this S of t is multiplied with C of t, we get a V of t. When this V of t, which consists of both message signal as well as a high frequency signal, which we will see later in the derivation part, when applied that to the low pass filter allows only the low pass signal, that is the message signal. So this VO of t should be the message signal. That's what actually we are expecting. This is the desired message signal what I am expecting. Now, along with the derivation, let us understand how the demodulation process happens. Okay, so as you know, S of t is nothing but V of t is nothing but it is S of t multiplied by C of t. Now just look at this equation. Now we have a double sideband suppressed carrier signal, which is one of the input for that product modulator. Okay, in the time domain, as you know, a simple multiplication of m of t with AC cos 2 pi fct, that is the carrier in the transmitter side, will give you the double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Now this S of t is one of the input. The other input is C of t. So in my case, I have taken a AC dash as the notation. It is not necessary that the AC and this amplitude, the peak amplitude of carrier generated in the receiver should be same as the transmitter carrier, but the frequency should be same. Okay, the frequency of this carrier and the locally generated carrier should be same. Now these two are the inputs given to the product modulator. What is the output of the product modulator? The output of the product modulator is V of t, which is given by simple multiplication, because I am using a product modulator which is a multiplier. Now what is this phi represents actually? The phi actually represents the phase difference. The phase difference between the local carrier and the transmitter carrier signal. We expect this phase difference to be 0. If it is not equal to 0, what happens? We will understand that in the next slides. Now, so let us say we have some certain phi here, the phase difference, that is also considered. Okay. Now, this is the output of the product modulator. I substitute both C of t and S of t over here. So we get this particular equation. So where this part is nothing but, the first part is nothing but S of t. So this is S of t, this part is S of t, okay, and this part is C of t. Both are multiplied. I rearrange the equation over here. I bring the amplitude term on one side, this AC cos 2 pi fct on the other side, this part somewhere here I write, okay, and this m of t is written somewhere here. Some rearrangement of the equation is done. Now, when I apply a trigonometric rule, say cos A and cos B, this is, let us say, cos A and cos B. When I apply that trigonometric rule, I will get the equation as something like this. Okay, because as you know, cos A cos B is nothing but it is half of cos of A plus B plus cos of A minus B. Just apply that rule and you will get this equation now. So where this first part, which represents actually m of certain amplitude, we have certain amplitude here, m of t multiplied by cos of 4 pi fct plus 5. That's what I'll get. Okay, that is a 2fc component. Okay, this m of t is shifted by 2fc in the frequency domain. That is the meaning. What about second term? The second term represents actually ac dash by 2 m of t into cos of 5. Okay, so out of this, the required term is the second term. So I am interested only the second term because we have a m of t over there. This is a signal which has m of t. Okay, cos phi actually nothing but phi is a constant, and if I consider different angle, this actually gives some constant value. That's all. Because cos of, say, let us say 0. Cos of 0 is 1, which is the highest value what I can get. 1 multiplied by this will decide the amplitude of this m of t. That means it is a simple scaling factor. That is ac dash by 2, and cos phi is a scaling factor of m of t. Okay, so I am interested only in the second term, and the second term can be extracted or passed by using a low pass filter. This component is passed by this is given to the low pass filter, out of which only the second term is passed by the low pass filter. Now the output of the low pass filter is nothing but it is the second component, right? Isn't it? Now for a different values of phi, what exactly happens? I say it should be coherent. The carrier frequency and the phase should be incoherent with the transmitter carrier and frequency and phase. Now in case, let us say, it is exactly incoherent or this phase difference is actually equal to 0. As I told earlier, cos of 0 is 1. I will get a highest amplitude for a demodulated signal. A m of t will have a highest amplitude of ac dash by 2. Now if phi is equal to 10 degree, accordingly the amplitude is going to decrease. The amplitude part is going to decrease. Now I take a special condition over here. Let us say at some certain instant of time, this phi is actually equal to some 90 degree, plus 90 or minus 90 degree. Now what happens? Cos of 90 plus or minus 90 is always equal to 0. That means here VO of t will actually become 0, right? Even if the m of t is present, my demodulator is not able to detect or produce the message signal for phi equal to plus or minus 90 degree. Okay, even if there is a transmission from the transmitter side, my receiver is not able to detect the signal. That means my detector will produce a 0 output. This effect is actually called as quadrature null effect. That means the output of the demodulator is null or 0 because of the phase difference of 90 degree or quadrature in phase. Fine. So this is the major problem or issue with the simple coherent demodulator. So we have to be very careful with the phase difference. We have to synchronize the phase. This is the requirement. Now I'll go to the frequency domain. So let us say this is the output of the product modulator. Again, same equation I have considered, and if I take the Fourier transform to this, what I will get, as I told earlier, this is equivalent to shifting m of t, or that is m of f in the frequency domain, by 2fc. So I get a AC dash by 4 m of f minus 2fc plus m of f plus 2fc. What about this? This is a constant. AC dash by 4, let us say m of f. That's what I have written over there. Directly I have written a m of f for this. So I have a message spectrum here. Okay. So this is equal to, this part is equal to this part. Okay, the first part, and the Fourier transform of the second part is equal to this. And if I represent that graphically in the frequency domain, so this is m of f, original spectrum, which I have to get back from the demodulation. Okay, so this is v naught of f. Fine. So this spectrum is actually represented here, now both the positive side as well as negative side, centered at 2fc. This is m of f, same spectrum m of f shifted by plus or minus 2fc, and this m of f is represented here now. M of f is represented here with a magnitude equal to AC dash by 4. Please forgive me, I have not taken a AC dash in my derivation throughout. I have taken a AC dash also. So which is simple, amplitude. You can neglect also, no issues. Okay. Now, so if I pass this entire thing through a low pass filter, okay, what I'll get only this particular term. So let us say I have an ideal low pass filter which has the response equal to this. Now what happens here is this response and this response is rejected by the low pass filter and passes only this particular spectrum of the V0 of f. That means my message signal is recovered. Now, so in this video, I have explained how to demodulate the double sideband suppressed carrier signal by using coherent demodulation. Okay, thank you for watching this.